All righty. I'm super excited to be here with Steve from RaikenProfit.com.
Um,
I was like contemplating, should I do that or not? I was like, let's do it. But honestly, man, I'm super excited to have you. And I do want to lead with this for people listening. Steve's got a huge following online, and I remember reaching out to you the first time. I don't remember exactly even the context of it, but not only did you get back to me quickly, so jovial and upbeat with a voice memo right back at me, man. So I just want to say super down to earth and really appreciate your energy and just seem like a genuinely upbeat, positive energy guy.
Hey man, well, I appreciate that. And I was looking back at our conversations because I know we connected on Instagram and I was like, how long have we known each other? It was actually in December, I think December 1st or so, you
Wow.
sent a message and we were chit-chatting a little bit. And I've been really impressed by what you're doing and your authenticity and just sharing the ups and downs. So yeah, man, it's really great to connect on on the next level and be able to touch base
100%.
with the audience. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. No, 100%. And yeah, we'll talk about it, but I'm really from the school of thought of, I'm 35. Like, I don't want to do anything that's not authentic, especially like, when it comes to the Amazon space. So I'm glad I say that to say I'm glad that comes through. So thank you for sharing that.
Of course, of course.
Um, cool. So, we've talked about this, but I kind of want to let the audience know this is going to be a little bit different than normal, just going Amazon journey and Amazon stuff. I really want to pick Steve's brain and talk about branding, building community, getting into courses, because the fact of the matter is so many of us become knowledgeable and really well skilled in Amazon or whatever we're doing. And I think realistically, like there's no reason not to think that you can share that information and monetize it if people want valuable information. So like there doesn't need to be like a shush culture about it. You know what I mean? And I will say, with that being said, because your Amazon is a little unique, I want to knock that out first. I want to talk about a little bit of your origin just to paint the picture. And
Yeah.
also because you do eBay to Amazon, which is atypical, I want to go into that. But start
Yeah.
off, and then we're going to hit the content side of things and the branding. So for everyone, just fill us in. When did you start reselling? Were you on eBay? Tell us like how you got into that.
Yeah, so I'm 36 right now, so I got a year on you, but we're close to the same age. When I was 21, when I was actually like 18 to 21, I was a little bit of a troublemaker, and we got Harry always making his presence when we're
Nice.
live.
What's up, Harry?
I was selling weed, and I had kind of took the wrong turn out of high school. I didn't go immediately to college. I was hanging out with the wrong people. I always had like the hustler mentality, like lemonade stand, like flipping Pokemon cards and trading cards. And then like I found out like you can literally sell weed and like make a bunch of money. And I was doing that like just around town. And not to get into a whole like crazy story or whatnot, but I didn't really like know what I was doing, and I was just selling to anybody and everybody. Like I was the same guy I am really now. Like I'm easy to get along with. I don't start problems with people. Like so people trusted me, but yeah, I got kind of set up by this kid in my neighborhood, and let's just say I sold to a police officer 4 times, and they hit me with 4 felonies, and I didn't know it was a police officer. Which it's the funny thing. It's like they charged me with 4 felonies for selling to a police officer 4 times. It's like if I knew if it was a police officer, I never would have sold to them.
Well,
Um,
yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I share that to share, like, I've always had the hustler mentality, but when I was younger and more immature, like I didn't like fully understand how to do it the right way. And I made some bad decisions. And let's just say, I got in trouble, went to jail for a little bit when I was younger. And I got out of school, got out of jail, ended up going to college, and I was going for X-ray to be an X-ray technician. I kind of switched my life around, and then I was like, man, like this stinks, like working a job in a cubicle and freaking like, I was like, I need to find another way. So I discovered like flipping bicycles on Craigslist. I would buy bikes on Craigslist and flip them. And I literally did about 20,000 in sales, probably put like $10,000 in my pocket. This was 10 years ago. So right now I'm 30. So I must have been like 25, 26. So this was about, 4 or 5 years after I got in trouble. And one thing led to another. I flipped bicycles, and then I ran a full-time business buying clothing from thrift stores. I did that for 3 or 4 years. And then I started flipping books and DVDs and all different types of items from like thrift stores and garage sales and auctions on
To eBay? Sorry to interrupt, Steve,
on
but to
Amazon.
eBay
Yeah,
or
I moved
Amazon?
on. Yeah, I moved on
Okay.
from eBay because I'm like, man, this is so much work. Like,
Yeah.
on eBay, you have to do everything. And I learned about the FBA program. So I switched to doing books, 5, 6 years ago. So did all that, the thrift store hustle, which again, I've been a hustler since I've been a little kid.
Yeah.
Again, I was just making the wrong decisions and
Right.
not doing it ethically. And yeah, a couple of years back, about 2 years ago, I got into a pretty bad car accident. I was on the highway and got hit by a massive commercial truck.
Mm.
And I don't know if you've ever been in a car accident before, like a bad one, but
No, knock on wood.
yeah, knock on wood for sure.
Yeah.
It really messes you up. At least it did for me. And like
Yeah.
being a thrifter and driving all around looking for books and board games and video games, I'm like, I can't freaking do this anymore. Like I was always looking in the rear view. I was always like, just like going through like depression and anxiety and whatnot, brother. And that's when I finally stumbled upon eBay to Amazon, which I know we'll get into, and we'll share the pros and cons because it's not
Yeah.
all, it's not
Right.
all sunshine and rainbows. So
Totally. So, all right. No, thank you for painting that picture. And if you don't mind me asking, how much time do you spend in jail?
not much time. Thankfully, my parents bailed me out and everything.
Yeah.
But I'll put it this way. This was back before like marijuana was like legal and everything.
Right. Right.
I had a $225,000 bail.
Yeah.
So I was on probation for years. And again, people are going to be like, oh, that's messed up. It's like, I knew the rules of the game. I broke
Right.
them. I made my bed and I slept in it and it changed my life. It really did. I'm actually really grateful it happened because I needed to be kicked in the butt. So sorry for sharing so much, but I wanted to really kind of paint the picture.
Sure. No, I love it. And actually, it's funny because as you're telling me that, one of my good Amazon friends, he goes by David AMZ Hustle.
Yeah,
He,
yeah.
dudes, he kind of went down a path, and by the way, I share this because he's open about it, and he's kicking ass. One of my best childhood friends, always a hustler, went to high school, college with him, great guy, never did drugs, but he liked to hustle.
Yeah,
And he
me
started
too. Yep.
financing. He got caught up, he got set up, did a year, now has like a multi-million-dollar pressure cleaning business because it forced him to do his own thing. And so my question was actually going to be, with that, which you kind of answered, and the car accident, did you find those to be like inflection points in your life that are kind of like,
Yeah.
come on, dude, like, let's stop messing around,
Yeah, the first one I realized how precious your freedom is. A lot of us, we take it for granted. And freedom is it's a beautiful thing, but it can be taken away from you if you don't follow the rules of society.
Yeah.
So, and then
Totally.
the car accident for sure was a big inflection point because I'm like, I need to figure out a way to be able to acquire inventory and, not have to drive around. And to be perfectly transparent, I want this to be a really, really open conversation. I do have other income streams, which we'll talk about. So
Right.
it wasn't like, I'm not going to sit here and like create a whole like false story of like,
Right.
oh my God, my back was against the wall and I had to find inventory. But like,
Yeah.
it hit me to the point where I'm like, I don't want to like be driving around thrifting like 20 to 30 hours a week to make money, but also because like I like helping people and like my whole brand was around it. So I felt pressure to do it. So like it was a big changing point for me.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you. And so we'll fast forward a little. And so you're doing Amazon FBA. Your whole model basically is eBay to Amazon, meaning you are buying things online from eBay that you can flip on Amazon doing FBA. And tell me how you kind of decided that was going to be your business model. And for
Yeah.
anybody, then we'll get into some questions that I know people would have about it.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. And it's good to cover all of the bases.
Yeah.
So was the question why I decided to get into it or
Or how did you decide this is going to be
oh,
my
gotcha.
model?
Yep. Sorry. So I knew I wanted to do some form of like arbitrage, like online arbitrage, one form or another, or wholesale. I wasn't really thinking private label because it was just, post all the craziness in 2020 and whatnot. So there was a lot of like distribution issues and stuff. And I know I didn't really want to do PL. I have a lot of friends in the community who do online arbitrage and whatnot. And I kept hearing so many different stories of like price tanking and issues and like having to depend on like sales. And I just wasn't like, I was kind of turned off by the idea of like competing with so many different people. Although I know that's a false belief, like there's obviously ways to create a moat around your products,
Right.
and I've learned a lot. But over the years from thrifting, brother, I used to buy like CD players from thrift stores, like random items, and flip them for hundreds of dollars. Like I'm
Yeah.
talking like, you know how it is at thrift stores. Like it's not
Sure.
like every day, but you can make a ton of money. Well, back in the day, like from time to time, I would buy an item from eBay and flip it on Amazon. But everyone told me like, oh, it's not sustainable. You're going to get kicked off. You can't, you don't have invoices. You're not going to be able to find enough inventory. And it was very manual. And it just kind of like, to be honest, I was like, you know what? I'm a thrifter at heart. Like I love it. Like I'm
Yeah.
not the best like Amazon seller, like in terms of like making the most money and all this, but like I love thrifting. I love treasure hunting. And honestly, I just started picking items from Facebook Marketplace at first and flipping them. And then like I had really good success. This was about 2 years ago. Facebook Marketplace, they ran a promotion where they were trying to get more people to buy using the like the shipping method on
Mhm.
Facebook Marketplace versus local. And this was like in November, December of a couple of years back. They subsidized all the shipping. So say I wanted to buy a board game for 15 and then shipping would be $14, so it'd be 29. They made shipping free.
Wow.
So I got it all free shipping, and then they subsidized it for the seller.
Yeah.
So I ended up like buying, like, I'm not even kidding, man, like 500 items. Like I cleaned out Facebook Marketplace with like DVDs, board games, like all the bigger items. I'm like, holy crap. And then I just started searching on eBay, and I'm not even kidding. I'm looking for my phone. I would open up my Amazon seller app and I would scan items on eBay like a freaking moron. But I was finding deals, and like things started flipping, and it just kind of clicked. And I'm like, you know what? Let me step into this. And I'll be honest, man, in terms of my knowledge with eBay to Amazon, I was like a 1 out of 10 when I started. And over the last 2 years, I've dove so deep into it. And I'm looking forward to sharing a lot, but there's certainly downsides and risks involved, which we
Yeah.
should definitely share with your audience.
And I just want to kind of like, I think your most recent this month, congrats, by the way, I think you did 60K in sales, but people, I want to point out your margins because of this unique method are like through the roof relative to arbitrage. So like
Yeah.
what on 60K, what do you net if you'll share that?
Yeah. So it's so funny that you're saying it, that it's amazing, because I posted on my channel and people make fun of me. That's it. I did
Yeah.
13,000 profit on 60.
Yeah.
So I think it was like 24. What does that come out to? 10, around 25%, which is
Yeah.
pretty good. I mean, for online arbitrage, like that's
Yeah.
after paying my virtual assistants, Amazon fees, cost
Right.
of goods. Like that's not like, that's like, you know,
No, that's good. That's
but
that's really good. I think most OA people are happy that have decent sales at like 15%. So I think that's
but
pretty
but
solid.
it's funny because like my audience, Duke, like they're mostly thrifters and stuff. So they're
Right,
usually seeing
right.
60 to 7%. So I get trolled all the time on my audience. Like they don't think I know what I'm doing because they're like
Yeah,
thrifters. So they think I'm an idiot. And I'm like, you guys have like a lot of people have no experience running a business.
right.
It's like the thrift world is like a dreamland world. Like, and
Yeah,
it's not a very like scalable business model. Like if you want to do
yeah,
5 to 10 grand a month and like bring in like 5 grand profit, you can. But if you
right.
want to scale to like 30, 40, 50, 60, and like not just scale numbers, like what I'm most proud of, and like I'm not the best Amazon seller, like I said, but like I'm only spending 5, 6, 7 hours a week on this business. Like this business
Right.
is so part-time for me, and it's so outsourceable, if that's even a word. Like that's
Yeah.
what I'm most proud about. Like who gives a damn about the numbers? Like what are you making per hour?
Yeah, no. And I definitely want to talk about that. I know you're very heavy into VAs and outsourcing, which I love. And by the way, just from let me add 2 cents to that too. The people that you are mentioning that are, I'm not saying like haters or anything, but like, poo-poo at the margin. I don't care what the margin is. I can't spend margin. How much profit am I making, right? If you have the capital, then the margin, the importance of that. I mean, I think it's great to keep you online and making good buys, especially early on. And when your capital is tight, you have to really stretch it. But if that's not such a pressing issue, profit is more important than profit margin. I'd rather make 10 grand at 10% they make 5 grand at 100%. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So just
100%,
my
man.
2 cents there. So,
Yeah.
okay. So let's ask the questions that I'm sure all of my fellow online arbitrage sellers are asking or would like to ask. Aren't you worried about IP complaints, account health, et cetera, et cetera?
I have 3 answers to that. Yes, yes, and yes.
Hey,
Um,
real quick, I do OA and I'm yes, yes, and yes.
yeah. Anyone who says no is like they're trying to make it sound better to sell you a course or BS you. Like, I don't care who you are, like, you're going to be concerned with that. So I'll go in the order of things that worry me the most. Counterfeits worry me the most. That's the thing that worries me the most, because you could sell a product that's 100% authentic, but if you get a counterfeit, like if you don't have an invoice, what are you going to do? Like, you're screwed. And matter of fact, I actually got a counterfeit the other day. It wasn't from an eBay to Amazon flip. It was actually from a freaking book, from a freaking thrift. And I got a counterfeit claim. It was on me. I think it actually was counterfeit because the company did a test buy and they said it was counterfeit. Who knows? Of course, I run inspections and stuff, but I'll tell you right now, I've never kissed a butt so hard in my whole entire life when I talk to Amazon. I had to, the good thing is I have the what's it called? The AH, the Amazon Health, whatever, if you're over 200.
Health assurance, whatever. Yeah.
So I have that. So I got a counterfeit claim and I appealed it, and they didn't ask for an invoice. And I'll talk about, actually, it would be good to share like the issues I've had from selling 12. Actually, I've sold about almost 20,000 products in the last 2 years with this method. And I've had about 3 issues. The counterfeit, that was the worst one. I literally just had this, man. I was scared about a week ago because they threatened deactivation. Even though my account was perfectly clean, I appealed it, it got removed. This is a good tip for the whole audience. All because you appeal an IP or a counterfeit and you get it removed, that could still be on the back end of your Amazon, even though it's not showing. And I had to talk to the performance team multiple times, come up with a plan of action, and I took it very serious. And there's not much you can do to prevent counterfeits. Like, honestly, like, so I do a lot of DVDs, and for DVDs, there's ways you can prevent it. Like, I don't touch a DVD less than 20,000 rank. I won't touch a DVD on eBay if there's multiple sellers selling multiple quantities and have sold multiple quantities, because those are the highest risk counterfeit items. But I mean, I think that's a really big concern, counterfeit. The best thing you can do is just stay away from super duper popular products. I found that those are the ones that are counterfeited the most.
Yeah.
But knock on wood, again, we talked about the car accident, knock on wood, counterfeit claim, knock on wood. I mean, it's a risk. If you thrift, if you do garage sales, if you do auctions, even if you do some RA, sometimes they might not accept receipts. It's scary, and it's a gray area.
Let me ask you a question, Steve. For all the stuff that you're selling, are you buying new, selling new? Are you buying whatever and always listing it as used, or how are you doing that?
Yeah, so I buy everything new and sell it as new. I recommend, if folks are newer, like if they have a newer account, I would recommend selling used in the beginning, just because I feel like if you have a new account, Amazon's going to be a bit more, I feel like they're going to be keeping an eye on you a bit more. Like, I have a seasoned account. It's like 10 years old. I have a lot of, it doesn't mean it's going to save me if something goes wrong, but I do want to share the context of that, because I do feel it gives me a little bit of an advantage, possibly. IP complaints, I'm concerned about them, but I'm not super duper concerned as much as counterfeits, because obviously there's a chance, all because Keepa or IP alert or ASIN alert, like all because it says, or there's no history of like any huge cliff drop offs or any alerts, it doesn't mean they're not going to start doing it in the future. But I have a pretty rigorous, if I've never sold an item before, like, we're always checking Keepa, we're checking to make sure there's multiple sellers. We don't want to be the only FBA seller if there's not like a good history. So I'm not super duper concerned about them. But it's the counterfeits that scare me. And if you don't have invoices, like, and you have a newer account, it's dangerous not having invoices. It is. I'm not going to lie.
The thing that's scary about counterfeits with what you're doing, I think, unfortunately, is that a customer might not have any clue. They just know Amazon's very lenient, and they might just check a box, whatever's the quickest or whatever, and they don't realize the repercussions. And at least as an OA seller, it's like, I could prove I bought it, from a wholesaler or whatever, retailer, that's what I would think would be scary, is that like Jane Doe can just click a box and Amazon says, hey, counterfeit.
Yeah. The good news is, and I don't know if this depends on different factors and whatnot, but there is kind of like a thought in the Amazon community. If you get one counterfeit or one IP, you're gone. Depending on the age of your account, accounts are a bit more robust than you would think. And this
Yeah.
isn't just like talking out of my, you know what, like this is from, like, I have a lot of six-figure friends, and I'm really good friends with about 4 or 5 of them who are doing even double what I'm doing with eBay to Amazon, and folks that don't have invoices. I have friends of mine who have gotten 7, 8, 9, 10 counterfeits, IPs, and I'm not telling folks just be careless and don't check IP alert and don't check Keepa. Like, you will get kicked off eventually if you do things dumb. And like, I would even say, like, the more I scale closer to six figures, it gets riskier and riskier. But accounts are a bit more robust. I think there is an element maybe of luck possibly, or how, what the infringement is.
Right.
I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that, but folks always, like, a lot of people in the community think like you get one IP, you're gone. But I'm curious on your thoughts.
Yeah, so I will say this. First, let me preface with this. I am truly from the mindset of like, Amazon is an incredible opportunity, like 99% good. So if I'm going to talk badly, I like to preface, because I think it's really important that people put their energy and attention into all the good, not the little bit. But since we're on the one major topic, I really wish it was just cut and dry. Like, if this happens, this happens to your account, right?
No.
But what seems logical to me is that the more that you've been selling, if I sell 10 items and I get a counterfeit complaint on one, that's 10% of my inventory. If I sell a million items and I get a counterfeit complaint on one, that's a fraction of a percentage. So naturally, I'd like to think the longer you've been around and the more you've proven yourself, the same way that if a restaurant, has been around for years and some idiot leaves a 2-star review, it's not really going to affect their rating when customers see that. I think there is some luck of the draw. I also at least like to think that if you do things the right way and you provide documentation, speaking to the arbitrage sellers, you hedge your bets, you put everything in your favor. I think we both have a lawyer on retainer, you put things that you do the best you can. And if Amazon wasn't such a great opportunity, maybe the risk wouldn't be worth the reward, but it is. So I think you just do the best you can and kind of just like promptly try to handle any issues the best you can. But I think anyone that says they know the exact system is lying. And I don't think anyone says that, by the way.
Yeah, there was a guy who was, it's funny, he joined my one of my courses recently, and he joined in, and he was already doing good numbers with eBay to Amazon without me. He's doing like 70K a month now, and he does all FBM, eBay to Amazon. I'm all
Wow.
FBA. I'll never touch FBM. I'll get kicked off in a minute. I already know, because like I can't rely on myself to ship every day. But dude, he came into the course. I'm laughing, but we're friends now. His score was 94. Yeah, he had like 10 IP complaints, counterfeits, and he's still selling. I don't know. Like, and then you see people like, you ever see the people on Amazon, their feedback's like 30%, and it's like they're still selling, and it's like,
Yeah,
what is
true.
going on? But
True.
it's yeah, I mean, right now, to be honest, man, I'm just running this thing till the wheels fall off, and I'm obviously like, I'm making good money, so like I don't want the wheels to fall off, but we'll see, man. Like, there could be a time where I start shifting more into like safer bets and hedging and whatnot. I do have a lot of different income streams, so it's not like, I like to preface by saying, like, I am in a little bit of a different situation than probably a lot of folks who are watching. So
Right. Yeah, no, I agree with that mentality. And if I was speaking to a friend that wanted to sell, I would say the same. I'd say, hey, this is a really great opportunity. I think it's going to be around for years. I'm just going to ride it until the wheels fall off. But just recently, my mindset has really shifted. I've been doing this for over 3 years. And my goal was in 2024 to pay myself basically all of the profit, so that I, instead of reinvesting, take it out, like you, park it into appreciating assets. I don't need a fancy car to take a picture in front of. This is a great way to make income stream. I hope to also diversify that with some courses or coaching and go as long as I can, but I'm certainly not going to put all my eggs in this basket forever. That's my thought.
Yeah, and the scary thing about this business, like regardless of what model you do, and this is what a lot of people don't understand, like you have to invest money back into this business for a long time. Like, especially if you want to build this up, like I can't tell you how much of my money is just sitting in freaking inventory right
Yep.
now. Like, and it's
Yep.
scary. I mean,
Yep.
and you want to keep growing, like you have to just like you're investing into this thing that you don't control, but it spits out good cash, but it's
Yeah.
scary, you know?
Yeah. 100%. I always, almost on every one of these interviews, I like to point out that is exactly why when somebody says they make $10,000 profit a month, it's not the same as a W-2 $10,000 a month paycheck, because it's very capital intensive. And most people get a taste and they want to grow, and you're spending more faster than you're getting it back. So it doesn't mean you're not making it, and it doesn't mean your net worth isn't growing via inventory, but it's not the cash flow that is you're
Yeah,
used to with a check. And I always like to say, you can absolutely do this in addition to your job on nights and weekends and mornings and during the job, etc. So,
agreed,
but
man.
my 2 cents. But anyway, so thank you for catching us up to speed on that. So that's kind of your model, what you're doing, how you overcome, you're scared, you have a good sense of like, just ride it, as do things the right way as long as you can and go from there. And so what I want to transition now into, selfishly, I want to talk about the branding and the affiliate stuff and the courses and get into that. But one segue I wanted to ask you, and I didn't know when the time, so I figured this would be a great little
Let's do it.
right in between wedge. So I saw you did 75 hard. And for anybody not familiar, and please correct me if I'm wrong, 75 days, 2 workouts a day, one has to be outside, gallon of water, take a picture of yourself every single day, no alcohol.
Read 10 pages.
So tell me about that. And like, not to get super meta, but did you learn anything like more than just, about yourself? Did that translate to other aspects of your life? Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really good experience. I'll tell you, having that discipline and doing something you say you're going to do, you build a lot of trust with yourself, and you really start to respect yourself a lot more, and you start to like yourself a lot more, because that's where confidence comes from. You say you're going to do something and you do it. And were you at the Miami
I
2020?
wasn't,
No, you
no.
weren't there. When I was there, I was dragging around my jug because I was on like day 40 during that event. So I got to rub elbows with a lot of OA wholesalers, sellers and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I learned a lot about just the truth is, like, a lot of times we don't think we could do something because it seems like so crazy. But once you get, a little bit of momentum, you get a couple days under your belt, like I really learned about I'm a creature of habit, and things get a lot easier as you start to build routines and stuff. So it was a great experience. To be fully transparent, I kind of fell after it. I kind of like fell off it, and I'm due for another one. But
Yeah.
it was a good experience. I lost a lot of weight, but I built a lot of confidence and trust within myself, which is important for business and all areas of life.
Oh man, you're preaching to the choir. I mean, more than anything, like proving yourself to yourself is so freaking impactful. Like, especially when you're your own boss, no one forces you to put in X amount of hours. No one forces you to do X, Y, and Z. So when you tell yourself, I'm going to do this, and then you do it, the same way if you saw someone else tell you what they're going to do and then they do it, you would say, wow, that person's, serious. That's how I think a great way to build
Yeah.
self-esteem and confidence. How much weight did you lose, by the way?
So I think I lost around like 20 pounds or so.
Interesting.
Yeah.
It's funny on that. That's incredible, by the way. But it's funny on that topic because I think about this online arbitrage, selling as a whole, online. It's very easy to not be as active as many other professions, or like you're sitting basically while you're doing your work. And so I definitely see where people that work online in general, like it's easy to just slowly creep. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I don't, do you have a team? Do you have a virtual team or anyone that that
No,
works for you or anything?
I want to, we'll get to that, but I personally don't know.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the biggest things I learned as well. Like when you could, it's hard to control a team, or even like be like if you're in a relationship or married or anything. Like if you don't like yourself, if you don't respect yourself, if you don't know how to like control yourself, it's like impossible to like move a team towards a vision and a direction. And right now I have about 17 full-time people that work with me across like everything from Amazon to content creation to coaching, and even more people that work with me, including coaches and stuff on top of that. So, you know, controlling yourself is one thing, but getting other people to do things is a whole nother skill set in itself, being a leader.
Yeah. Totally. You know, by the way, I lied. I have one more question going back eBay to Amazon. I'm looking down on my paper and I'm like, ah, shoot, I forgot this. But
Oh
I think
man.
it's important to ask. So why not just do online arbitrage? You clearly have the skill set to find things to buy low and sell high. Why not just do OA, for instance?
I think it's a combination of like limiting beliefs and being an idiot. And I'll explain, like, for me, like half the thing is like, I, how do I put it? Like, I want to enjoy what I do and have fun. Like, I know how to do OA. Like, I've invested in coaching programs. I've learned from some really good OA folks. Like, I understand how it's done. I just, I really have a lot of fun. Like, and that's where it like comes down to the idiot part. Like, it's not the smartest thing long term, but like, you know, and I don't say this to brag or boast, but you know, less than a year ago, I hit the $1 million net worth status. Like, I've got good money, like I've got assets, I've got different business. Like, I want to do something I enjoy. And I've messed with OA, and like, maybe I'll enjoy it down the road when I like dive into it deeper, because there's still so much for me to learn about it. But I love being in the freaking dirt and flipping items and buying items. It's like, it's not the smartest, like long-term business. Like, I know I can make a lot more money and leverage my capital, like with OA and wholesale, but I'm just not ready. I'm just like a kid having fun in the dirt right now, like playing around.
So that, you know, it's funny. That was one of my questions was kind of gonna relate to that. So we'll just talk about it now. Um, you have you just mentioned a really nice, healthy net worth, which is incredible. So, congrats.
Appreciate that.
So you don't have to do this, right? And you have real estate and you have a good head on your shoulders. Does money motivate you? Does it helping others? Is it getting attention? Like a combination of everything. I'm really curious. I always like to understand what makes people
Yeah.
tick, because I really enjoy business, to give some context in entrepreneurship, but there's so many days I'm like, this shit's meaningless,
Yeah.
flipping gadget A to gadget B, like.
Yeah, that's a really good question. I really think it's a combination of a lot of things. Like, I'd be lying if I didn't say money wasn't a part of it, but I don't think it's the money, like, because I don't even like, I drive a Toyota Tacoma. Like, I used to own a car. I got rid of, I don't care about stuff like that. Like, I
Yeah.
don't care about like materialistic stuff that much. I think for me, growing up in like a Jewish family as well, and like when I was younger, like I couldn't get like the things I wanted. Like, my dad was kind of cheap, and like, for me, like, I think a big motivating factor is like, of course I love helping people, but I don't want to just give, because it just always sounds like a corny answer. But it's like, I think there's a part of me that it's almost like it's a combination of like, I want ultimate freedom. And I know by having money, it's a resource. I never want to work like delivering pizzas and working at the Cracker Barrel. I used to work, like, I used to feel like a locked up animal in a cage. And I like the security of having like multiple income streams. I think money for me is it's almost like a scorecard now. Like, I'll make good money, and it's like the money's cool for like 2 seconds, like when you win the game, and then it's like, so I think it's a combination of security,
Yeah.
freedom. Like, I love helping people, having multiple income streams. So I know it's probably not the most clear answer, but and
No.
I enjoy it. Like, I work all the time. Like, I love it because it
Yeah.
doesn't feel like work to me.
Yeah. No, that's great. I think a lot of people strive to be in that position. And by the way, I don't think there's one right or wrong. I'm always just genuinely curious what makes people tick. So
Yeah.
I
Good
appreciate
question.
that. So what I want to dive into now. So for anybody not familiar, prior to this, I looked online, 190,000 follow or subscribers on YouTube, 128,000 on Instagram. How the hell does somebody get that many followers in the reselling game?
Well, you just got to buy them on Fiverr.com, $5 a thousand. No. Um, man, just, I've been doing this for 10 years, man. I have 3,000 videos or 2,000 or 3,000 on YouTube. I lost
Yeah,
track.
3,000, close to 3,000.
Yeah. And the truth is, like, how it works on social media, like, especially with like Instagram, like in TikTok, like I remember in 2020 during the pandemic, I had one video on TikTok. And by the way, my TikTok literally just got banned today, so I have to appeal it.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, whatever. But on TikTok, I posted one video and got 100,000 followers just with one video. And on Instagram, I've had a couple of videos that have like gotten like a couple million, and they just brought in like 30, 40, 50,000 followers. It doesn't mean they're all engaged and whatnot, but it's a numbers game. Like, my social, I'm not the best content creator. I don't have the greatest content, but I think I'm a down to earth dude who just has been consistent over the years. And 95% of the people who follow me don't even engage. It's just the way it
Right.
is. Like, and I've had comments like, "Oh, you bought your followers, they're fake." It's like, dude, I've been creating content for a long time. And the way the algorithm works is like doesn't even show your videos to half the like to 90%
Yeah.
of the people. But I think it's just consistency, man.
10 years, did you say, with YouTube?
Yeah,
Literally?
yeah.
Wow. So take me back 10 years ago. Like, what made you say, I'm going to take out the camera? And was your mindset at the time, I'm going to build a brand? Because I mean, that was pre Gary Vee screaming in everyone's ear. Like, and I don't even know if it was monetized then. So like, what do you remember your mindset?
Dude, I didn't even monetize it for the first 2 years. I didn't even know you could.
Yeah.
I did it, I think, partly for attention. I think back then I'm thinking like I wanted to almost like be the cool kid in the community. Cause back then the biggest YouTube channel in the resale space was like 500 followers. Yeah. Like nobody
Yeah.
had more than like a couple hundred followers. There was no Amazon space. No one was even talking about Amazon back then. I don't even think there was one Amazon person back then.
Yeah.
It was all like eBay and freaking weird flea market stuff. But I think I just wanted to be a part of the small little community. And there was a couple guys that I looked up to, and I was like, wow, these guys are freaking really cool. Like I can't believe they're like doing this stuff. And I guess I wanted to fit in and just share and contribute because I felt so grateful. Like I was starting to make money, and even if I just made like $100 flipping a bike, like for me, that like meant the world to me. Like that
Yeah.
was like, holy crap, that's like 15 hours of work. Like now, like everything's so different. I see the world like a completely different way. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of fit in and contribute and offer value and just share my journey. And you don't know a lot about my past, but I'll share a little. Like I used to quit everything I did, like from the newspaper route to jobs. Like I would jump job to job to job, just quitting. Like I was a little schmuck back then, and I think subconsciously I was thinking like if I don't integrate myself into this community and like have something to lose, like I'm probably going to just quit doing this as well. And this is too good of an opportunity to quit. And if I quit, what am I going to do? Go back to working at these? Well, I was working at restaurants. I'm like, what am I going to do with my life? So I don't know. That's the best answer I could give. It's a
Yeah.
long time ago, but that's what I felt like why I did it.
So I'm curious, as somebody myself who's been chipping away at YouTube for like 2 years, and I'll share why I'm doing it. At 190,000 subscribers, how much AdSense is that per month on average?
Not much, dude, anymore because my YouTube channel, for some reason, it doesn't get a lot of traction anymore.
Mm.
Like on Instagram, I've gotten like almost 3 million views in the last month. On YouTube,
Wow.
it's like 100,000. Like the algorithm, like I don't know if I got blacklisted or what, or I used to make a lot of eBay content and then I switched to Amazon because like I'm not selling on eBay, so I can't create that content. So I think
Right.
I almost like screwed over the algorithm because think about it. Like say you're ESPN.com and like everyone goes there to watch sports, and the next thing you know, you're talking about,
Yeah.
gardening or something.
Right. I get it.
So honestly, right now it's only around like a couple thousand a month in AdSense, but I make close to 6 figures a year just off of affiliate marketing, like recommending
Yeah.
different products and softwares that I use. Like I don't promote anything I don't actually use.
Right.
And mostly it's software. It's kind of I feel like it's stupid if you're in the Amazon space to not be making content and sharing like the softwares you believe in and use because they're all reoccurring revenue.
100%. I'm starting to get a small taste of that and just some really easy affiliate stuff. But yeah, again, I will only vouch for things that I believe in because your reputation is everything, and man, that's interesting. Okay, so 10 years of making content, huge numbers. At the time, there was no like crystal clear reason why, and it's really panned out. Is it fair to say now that like the audience building is to essentially create a funnel of, hey, the more eyeballs I get on me, it leads to these affiliate links into my courses and to things that help generate additional revenue.
Yeah.
Is that fair to say?
Yeah, from like a business standpoint, like if we're talking strictly business, I mean, of course, we all want to help and make a difference and add value, but I feel like that's a given. Like you can't make money without an exchange of value. If you
Right.
want to make more money, regardless of what you're doing, I don't care if you're on Amazon, coaching program, affiliate, the more people you positively affect and the more value you add, the more opportunity you have to make money if you position yourself correctly. So when it comes to making money with a brand, you're not going to actually make that much money with a ton of followers if you don't position yourself correctly. So um, like for example, if you make tons of videos, but you never share an affiliate link, or you never get someone to click on your link, or you never get someone to a sales page,
Right.
you're never going to make any money outside of like if you set up like sponsorships and stuff, you know.
Yeah. How do you sell people without being used car salesman stereotype?
Well, I've made every mistake in the book. When I
Yeah.
learned about selling like courses and products, probably like 7 years ago, about 3 years in, man, I look back and I cringe at like the way I would pitch things because I didn't know, like, no one taught me it. Like, I had to learn, like, there's a way of people want to buy things, but they don't want to be sold to.
Yeah.
So I feel like the best thing, like, again, from a business standpoint, I don't want this to sound like, I do everything just to make a dollar and like it's all just a freaking like strategy. But it is like in terms of the business, and especially since I'm employing 17 people, like you have to have revenue that comes in. Um, but I'll put it this way: like the more people you like, the bigger your brand is, the more people that follow you, the more people you can help. But the way I do it is typically what I'll do is either I'll invite people into like a webinar where you add a lot of value and you have like a natural pitch at the end. I get people onto my email list where I'll nurture and share and give tips and value. And the cool thing about an email list is you can embed affiliate links into, say maybe, like the other day I made a video about Be Cool. I had Be Cool. They came over to my house. They stopped by
Right.
after Jim Cochran's conference and we made some videos and whatnot. And we added a lot of value. But of course, I shared my affiliate link in it. And when I sent out an email, I added a lot of value and I said, hey, PS, if you want to try this, here's the link to it. I've been using it for 18 months, so on and so forth. But I think an email list is a great way to do it because people they don't want to be sold to. They want to, and this is what a lot of people don't realize, like the market wants whatever you can give it to help. Like people want what's going to help them. So, if you're doing something and you're having success and you just share it, they're naturally going to want your help. You don't really need to pitch them as hard as you might think. So,
Yeah. So by the way, just using that example, do you know how many people signed up for Be Cool just from sharing it in that newsletter or
I'm
whatever?
not I'm not sure yet because the way it works is they have a 30-day free trial.
Okay. Yeah.
So conversions haven't come in yet, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean I like Be Cool. They have a great affiliate program.
Yeah.
But a lot of the repricers have good affiliate programs, I believe.
Yeah.
Who
And
do
it's
you
all
use?
recurring, which is really nice.
Yeah, and people who use a repricer, the serious sellers are going to continue using it.
Yeah, totally. So let me ask you, this is going to be a little selfish, but a little bit, I think, for everyone. Okay. So we're going to use me as an example. Okay. Give some context. I've been, 1,500 Instagram followers, 2,000 plus on YouTube. I will say this, I feel pretty confident about this, that because of, I kind of only post something that I think truly provides value, no fluff. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. There's, people running laps around me that have more fluff. So there's no shade, right? That's just been what I'm comfortable with. And I feel like, I think what's it called? But like basically the concept is you need 1,000 strong followers then that's really it, right? To make a good buck. What's your advice to me? Let me share my goal. Like my whole thing has been, I want to do the thing. I've done it. I've literally have my best month ever. Today's July 31st, by the way. I've eclipsed 90K without
Congrats.
sacrificing margin or anything like that.
And
I
you got
celebrate
invoices,
every day.
baby.
Yep. So no, it's so I'm doing the thing, right? And I can actually say confidently, like, I know what I'm doing, you know. And I've been chipping away at growing my audience. And part of me is like, you know what? You're always comfortable with video. It doesn't have to be revolutionary. Knock out a YouTube video a day, create a course, have a newsletter, and just market it. And you don't even have to, it's always just going to be there, and like, just create a natural funnel. If you were me, what would you say? Does that sound good? Do I need to knock out 3 pieces of content a day? Like, do you have, like, if you were talking just off camera, like, what would you suggest for me?
Well, I think first of all, it depends on, like, a course is good, but a lot of people think people just make so much money off of courses. It's not as easy as it used to be anymore. Like, courses have a negative, what is the word?
Connotation?
Yeah, like people, they don't view it the same way as they used to anymore. So like, if you don't have a unique way and you don't really promote it and market it and really put it out there, it's actually a lot harder to sell courses than you would think. I would say if you want to do a course, you can certainly do a course. There's membership sites. You can do a membership site. You can do a interactive boot camp. You can do some type of mastermind. Like, there's so many different things that you can do. So in terms of what you would be doing to help people, that, what made you think of doing a course? And we'll get into
What I really like about a course is that it's set it and forget it. It's you don't, I'm not exchanging time for money minus that initial thing.
Yeah. See, I don't, and I feel like that's why a lot of people have a negative like thought about courses, because I actually don't like to do courses like that, because I feel like I have a lot of data from people that go through courses. Most people don't even like go through a course at all. Like, they don't even
Okay.
finish it. It's like kind of, so like all my courses, like my eBay to Amazon masterclass course, like most of the, like, it's a really good course inside, but like I'm always having to update it because things are changing. Like, there's a Facebook community that's attached to it. Like, most of my students who have the most success, like I'm always like, I'm having to work with them consistently. So the idea of like, and I'm sure there's been people who've made like millions of dollars doing it. I'm probably just not smart enough to figure it out, but I mean, it's really not set it and forget it. Like, and I feel like that's why people have a bad taste. There's so many courses out there where like people just create it, and then like there's no community, there's no Discord, there's like people have questions, there's no customer support. So I would just be cautious having the mindset around like creating a course and just set it and forget it, because it never is as sexy as it sounds. And
Yeah.
I've created
I
a lot.
appreciate your honesty. I do. And yeah.
Yeah, I think a course is a good idea. And a lot of people, they say, well, why would I buy a course if everything's online for free? Which is true. Everything is online for free. But with that being said, there's a million different ways to skin a cat. And the way like you and I could be in the same business, but you might have a completely different system. And even if I watch all your Instagram, all your videos on YouTube, they're out of sequence, they're not in order, some things are outdated. So the nice thing about a course is, and I actually just took a course about a new Amazon opportunity I'm going through now, Amazon Influencer. I don't know if you've heard about that.
Sure. Sure.
And I just love being able to go step by step, watching videos, engaging, having a place to ask questions. So
Yeah.
if you create a course, I would think of it more from a long-term thing. And one thing that I'm doing, my new thing now is like, I'm like, whenever I put out a course, I put it out like literally like 2 to 3 to 4 times as little price as I initially want, because I want to get feedback. Like, I want to be in it for the long haul. I want to get testimonials. I want to figure out what people like, what they don't like. But I don't know, man. I don't like the idea of like just create a course and forget it, and because people don't get results like that, I feel
Okay.
like. But
Good
that's
to
just
know.
my opinion. That's just
Yeah. So contrarily, I know you mentioned a couple others. I know you don't know so much about my experience, but like, is there anything that stands out to you that, hey, well, I don't like this. This is what I do like. Maybe you should do a 10-person 3-month membership. You go on a call every week, and you have like a syllabus type of thing, or like, what would you suggest?
one thing that I'm getting big into right now is membership sites. So I actually launched one about a year ago. And what I like about a membership site is, well, there's a couple things. Number one, students can get it at a really, really good price. So like, I have one of my memberships, we started it at 17 and then 27, it went up to, now it's up to 47 a month. And we have 7 coaches. We have 3 to 5 live coaching calls every week. We have hundreds of hours of content. We have courses and boot camps and different things. And I'm not even going to mention the name because the purpose isn't to like share any of my, like, I just want to add value here, but people could join for 47 a month. And it's like it's like a killer deal. And for me, it's worth it, because if I get enough people, then it makes up for it, and it's reoccurring revenue. So I have 4 customer service people full-time on my team. Like I'm able to use that revenue to build like a really good system, have a developer on standby, pay coaches, like really be able to create an amazing experience. Whereas it's just a different, there's a lot of things to talk about here in terms of like revenue and the importance of generating revenue, but I like having that reoccurring revenue because I can consistently invest back into building it and making it better and better and better.
Okay. Yeah,
Whereas a
no,
course
fair
is like
enough.
one off. It's like hit it and quit it and you're gone. And then like, what's your incentive to keep making it better?
Yeah, no, totally. And like anything, I mean, I've done enough different stuff that it's like you try things, you iterate, you try things, you iterate, you know, so you're not going to always hit a home run right out the bat, but you got to try stuff. So, and as far as um growing my social audience, right? Do you think it's a consistency play? Do you think it's collaboration? Like any
Yeah.
specific tips for anybody listening at home?
Well, this is going to be something people don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it anyways. Um, I was telling a friend about this the other day. Like sometimes, dude, like I'll put my heart and soul into creating a piece of content and it'll be like the most valuable piece of content. Like I'll think it through, write a script, like I'm sharing all the best tips and like I'm sharing stuff that scares me. Like, what the heck? I'm giving away like 2 years of like my experience, like in this video. Like no one will give a damn about it. It'll share like the downsides of not having invoices and IPs and like I'll share mistakes and like real life experiences. People don't like it. I'll put out the dumbest video in the world on Instagram of me, like some freaking piece of content that I've repurposed 1,000 times with a stupid sound with like my mom retired. And it's like, wow, oh my God, this is the best video in the world. All these subscribers, people join my email list and then they love it and they learn it. It's like, this world is so stupid. Like this social media game is so dumb. Like I work my butt off. I grind, I bleed, I put it all out there. No one cares. Put the dumbest video out and it gets millions of views. That's the world we live in. So creating a balance of that is something I've learned to do. Sorry to go so crazy on
No, I
your
love it. I love it.
and you see the type of content I put out. Like I'm giving the market what it wants. I put my heart and soul in things and give people the die hard, like real content. They don't care.
Listen, Steve, I appreciate that so much. I really do. And to be honest, I think that's one of the reasons I'll never have a huge because I just don't want to play that game. And I respect anyone that does. And by the way, it's funny because like I've seen the story about your mom 500 freaking times because I know it's hitting. You know what I mean? You know what? Kudos to you. Like that's great. I'm not knocking anyone. It's just I also think it's important. You have to understand what your goal is, what you're comfortable with, and that like the one thing we all have as an advantage is like we all are, it's cliche, but like we're super unique. We're one of one. So like I respect anyone for
Yeah.
any putting themselves out there.
And let me make a point, like from a business standpoint, again, I'm not talking about like, of course I want to help, I want to serve, but like if I want to be able to serve, let's just say 500 people in my membership, I have to do whatever I can, given like I'm going to be ethical. I'm not going to lie. Like maybe sometimes like in social media, you're playing a little balance of like, this is like, but never like, I don't lie. Like I don't do anything like that, but like, you gotta say things like, one of the things I did recently, the algorithm loves this. I can't believe nobody knows I made $3,000 at the thrift store. I did, but it's like everybody knows. But if I say they don't know, the algorithm loves it. But like if I want to help people on a greater level, which I know if I could get them into my groups, if I could get them watching my content, if I could actually get them paying attention to the good and the bad and like get them into the conversations about IP complaints, get them into how they use the softwares, how to set up the repricer. If I can't even get them into my ecosystem to help them, then I can't grow. I can't change more people's lives. I can't continue to pay my team and build and affect. So that would be one of my pieces of advice is like, you do have to be willing to appease. I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but like, you have to find a way to get people into your initial top of the funnel. And then as the funnel goes down, you're almost trying to filter out people who aren't a good fit. So that's the biggest challenge.
And you know, I think for people listening, something that I'm thinking about here is like sharing your numbers on the 60K this month, making 13, which is fantastic, right? That's freaking incredible. But like you're also making not that much less than that off of affiliate. And then you have courses and then you're taking that money into real estate. You said you have $1 million net worth, right? Or over that now. So like I can do simple math. It's not from your eBay set to Amazon sales. It's everything else. And I think a good message to people, which I'm trying to fully grasp is like, it's more valuable if I can make 50K a year, but I can teach 20 other people how to make it. You don't make me more than 50K a year. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And nothing's wrong with that.
And
You
less
know?
risk than having Amazon, having your balls in
Right.
Amazon's hands.
Right. No, that's why, that's
Not
kind
to
of where
draw a
I'm at
picture.
now. I'm kind of like I said, I'm gonna keep pushing Amazon, but I think I'm gonna start pulling a lot more profits, not just reinvest, and try to help other people and teach them how to do the same, and get it, grow a little, get some affiliate money, stuff like that. Just chip away.
And everyone should be
Because
doing that. Everyone
yeah,
should. Everyone listening,
yeah,
you shouldn't have all your eggs in one basket. Sorry to cut you
right.
off, but you're on the
No,
right. I mean,
yeah, no, I agree. I totally agree. And like, for those people too, I want to share, even if you're not comfortable making content, right? Even if you just DM other people and put yourself out there a little bit, like one major inflection point, and I mean major inflection point, is I've become really friendly with somebody that I trust, that I vibed with online, and we source together almost every day. So it's like a buddy system.
yeah.
He's a 7-figure seller. I'm on pace for that. Like, it's like the best 10 VAs in one. You know what I mean? Like, so my point is, even if you're not comfortable posting or creating content per se, you can still make connections just by being out there. But if you don't have an account, you have a 0% chance. So just my 2 cents on that.
Amen.
So one thing I want to ask you too, and this kind of leads into your VAs, 17 people. In all seriousness, like, how do you crank out so much content? Like, do you walk us through that flow? Do you sit down and say ideation, film day, edit? You're knocking out, like I said, almost 3,000 on YouTube, 4,000 on Instagram. That's not an accident. Like, how does that work?
Yeah, it's all deep fake AI. No.
Yep.
So my Instagram and TikTok strategy is pretty simple. What I discovered a couple of years ago is the talking head videos don't really do very well, at least for me. So what I did is I brought my videographer out to the thrift store. I've literally done this twice in like a year and a half, and he just like filmed like a million clips. And we literally just keep repurposing the clips and putting different text over, different sound, like different sayings. And like,
Yep.
now I've trained a VA to do that for me. So like, she takes the clip, she finds the reel. What I do is I just spend a couple hours and I'll write down like a bunch of sayings, like on a Google Doc of things I want, and she'll just lay them over now. So like, I still make some of them, because it's like, sometimes you'll be doing business and you're like, you know what, I gotta, make a reel or something fun is going on, but because it's fun. But my Instagram and TikTok's pretty simple. It's just a lot of repurposing of,
Okay.
like, if you get 300 clips, you could make like 10,000 videos out of
Yeah.
that.
No, totally.
But again, it's one thing that I'm trying to do, and I have a new strategy, is I think I've swung too far to the whole, like, how we were talking, like, you got to do things to like make social media like go viral, but then you also have to have really good, like, concrete content. So I'm going to be kind of balancing it out more. So one thing I've started to do is I'll record in my studio for like 2 hours and create like 40 or 50 really, really good clips, and then give them to my video team and they'll just edit them, because you don't want to just have like all content that's just like all like kind of cheesy.
So let me interject for a sec, Steve. So totally get what you're saying. I don't want us to pass this by though. So how do you come up with 40 to 50? Do you sit in a room for an hour and just whatever comes to mind? Do you have like a system?
Honestly, I get my ideas from other users on Instagram and TikTok. So like, this was actually interesting. One of my most popular videos on YouTube, I recorded this like 5 years ago. It was 11 mistakes to avoid before starting eBay. Well, I went on to Forbes.com and there was a video called 11 mistakes to avoid before starting real estate. So like, I do a lot of that. Like, why? I'm not that smart. Like, I'm not a copywriter. I don't know what's going to like get people's juices flowing. So a lot of what I'm doing is taking other people's ideas, not copying them, but like different industries, and putting a twist on it.
100%. That's very smart. You don't need to reinvent the wheel,
I do like storefront stalkers.
Yeah.
Any of you OA people talking trash? Oh, I know you're using Seller Amp. I know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah. That's funny, man. That's funny. Yeah. Okay. And so YouTube's different though. You can't just repurpose clips. At least I don't think so. So like, tell me about your strategy with that.
Honestly, YouTube, I'm kind of just like whatever is like getting me excited in the moment. Like I'll just like record like 3 to 5 videos at a time. Or like honestly, the last year, man, I just been going live. Like if I'm in my car or if I have an idea or I made a mistake or I learned something. I've kind of like I haven't put YouTube on the back seat, but since I get a lot less views over there, and it just seems like the algorithm's like almost just not
Yeah.
pushing my content, I just YouTube's just more or less for fun for me. I'll just jump on a couple times, but I'm actually going to be putting forth a new strategy where I want to dedicate like 1 day per week, where literally I have like maybe 4 to 6 hours because I don't think I could record for longer than that.
Yeah.
I
Agreed.
just want to just like bang out like as many videos as possible, upload them to a Google Drive, give them to my team, and then let them just do everything else. So I actually have a Google Doc on my computer. It's called my like social media planner. And what I'll do is I'll upload a bunch of videos, upload them into this Google sheet. I'll title each one. And then I have a social media manager who essentially assigns it to like a video editor, assigns it to a graphic designer. She uses Chat GPT now to like write descriptions and different things that like aren't like necessarily that important. But I'm not using any of that for like my actual content or anything that's like, because
Right.
that would be unethical. But
I got you.
and then it just gets passed along the assembly line and scheduled out really.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest, one of the things with YouTube, it's like I'm fine creating the videos. It's like even if it's half an hour, I get antsy and I'm like, this is not how I want to spend an hour, editing a video, especially when there's overlay and you have to blur out sensitive
Oh,
information.
it,
It's just like,
and this is one of the reasons you have to monetize. Like you have to learn how to make money from affiliates, either from courses or coaching, because the reason why most content creators they're never here in 2, 3, 4, 5 years is because everybody's trying to put food on their table. Like everyone's trying to take care of their family. Like inflation's a real thing. Like things aren't necessarily getting easier like for the average American or
yeah,
anybody. So if you don't learn to monetize, like you can't really like I couldn't put out so much content if I didn't have a social media manager. I have an operations person, I have an integrator, like I have 3 full-time video editors, multiple graphic designers. Like I have a team to help and support. But the only reason I'm able to hire them and put out so much content and have multiple coaching programs and courses because I have so many people to be able to support. So it's the reason I share that is because I could see how you might think, well, why would I hire a video editor or a graphic designer? Because I'm not making any money. Like I don't have a funnel, like I don't have a course, like at the end of the day, like you're a smart business person, and sometimes it's tough to see long term. Like, but I think one thing I would honestly advise to you is to think about it more from like an investment standpoint and think about it from like, yeah, like some people aren't going to like you put out a course and whatnot or a coaching program, but you have to think about like the small group of people that you'll be able to really help. Because content's good, but like you can't really get people great results if you don't like work with them closely.
yeah.
In my experience. So like I would really think about investing in a graphic designer for thumbnails and stuff, investing in at least a video editor. You can get really good video editors for 3, 4, $5 an hour. And just, I just hired one recently, $400 a month. This guy's incredible, incredible.
And I assume Philippines, or is that a safe
Yeah.
assumption?
Yeah, a lot of people in the Philippines I work with, in India for more of the tech side, but onlinejobs.ph is a great
Yeah.
website.
What about that learning curve? As far as like, not that's one nice thing about Amazon stuff. It's not so much about like the video production as much as like education. So like ultimately, if you're providing value in the form of education, in my opinion, that's gonna do well. But like how do you initially get them to understand your vision and your, I don't know, how you want to see things done? Is it difficult?
Like with a video editor or someone that
Yeah, like
yeah,
how do you let them know like this is what I want to
yeah,
happen at this scene,
yeah.
or this is my feel, without literally having to spend an hour going, hey, at 2:39 I want this, and then it defeats the point of you saving time.
Yeah, I mean, it's It's tough. Loom videos. That's what I do. That's the quick answer. Loom videos. You just have to turn your screen record on and go through it. And if you want certain things, just mention it that way. There's no easy way, because I don't care if you have an integrator or someone in terms of operations on your team. Like, no one's going to have the knowledge you have of they're not going to understand like how to pull freaking variations and go into that screenshot and pull it over. So, I mean, there's no way around, hard work, but, a lot of times what I like to do nowadays is I'll have screen share going on my computer and I'll have my camera recording me. So then they could just link up both. So they don't really need to have like a ton of screenshots. They could just have kind of the screen share going and like me in the corner. But it's a lot of communication. It's a lot of, when you work with virtual assistants, it doesn't matter what you're doing. It's a lot of them messing up, you course correcting, creating an SOP, then messing up, course correcting, then messing up a little less, course correct. It's just a cycle until you build up that trust. It's a long-term play. You're never going to hire someone and they're just going to change your life. It's actually going to turn your life upside down for a little bit.
Yeah, no, I believe that. And actually, I'm curious, if you didn't have them, do you think certainly that your quantity at least would be substantially lower? Like you wouldn't make the time to edit and create, etc.
I'll be honest, a lot of my team deals with a lot of stuff outside of the content creation now.
Okay.
So I could still do it, because I've gotten my systems down pretty good. And the thing is with like Instagram and TikTok and even like YouTube Shorts is like, I'll create one video and then I'll use like Tick Save or Insta Save to just download it without a watermark, and you can just upload it everywhere really, really quickly. So I think I still could, but I 100,000% guaranteed couldn't create courses and deal with all the tech and payment processors and building websites and customer service and returns and building sales pages. And like, there's a lot in my business now. I don't even know how to do 90% of the stuff because I have people who I've, built, who've gotten on my team. Like, people message me all the time, oh, I want a refund or change my payment. It's like, I have to put you through to support. I don't even know how to do these things.
Yeah. I hear you, man. No, that's cool. We'll start wrapping up here. Something I want to ask is, on a personal note, if eBay to Amazon goes away, courses, anything related to e-commerce goes away, and all the complementary income streams, you have a nice nest egg. Like, what do you want out of life? What do you see in 10 years? Like, do you have anything grandioso, or like, you just love kind of what you're doing? But again, assume it's out of the picture.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked, because now we can talk about the crypto coin that we're partnering on together. No,
Okay.
just kidding.
No, right. I don't know anything about crypto, so
but,
I'm scared of that.
dude, every April Fools for the last like 7 years, I've been doing a video on my YouTube channel where I'll literally just screw with my whole entire audience.
Nice.
3 years ago, it was I got a job at my Goodwill, and now I'm teaching everybody. I'm teaching them all what products not to how to
Nice.
price items. Last year it was, or this year it was, I'm coming out with a crypto coin called Raiken coin, and I got a bunch of
Love
people.
it.
That's
I
a
love it.
way to ruin your subscribership, but I'm having fun. To be honest, like, the way I look at things is I have the confidence that if everything hit the fan, I would figure it out. Like, I just know I've gone through so much, like, and just overcoming so many challenges, like starting so many businesses, like different things, from YouTube channels to coaching programs to Amazon to Kindle publishing back in the day. Like, I would figure out the next move. I don't know what it would be, but I know you could take everything from me, take all my money. I will figure out a way. It might take me some time.
Yeah.
But there's so many opportunities. Who knows? I honestly don't know. I'm actually really pumped up about this Amazon influencer program. Have you been messing with this at all?
So it's interesting. I haven't. I've been following it, and I have mixed feelings, not for anybody, but for myself. I'm finally like thriving with Amazon FBA. And outside of this, I actually have a business that has 2 locations. We just opened our second one. So like,
Really?
Shout out, Damn Good Beer Bus. So
Man.
brewery tours and like transportation, bachelor, bachelorette, corporate, stuff like that.
Okay. All
So
right.
check that
All
out.
right.
Yep,
Where
yep.
where are you located, by the way? So
So first location's in South Florida, and I moved to Asheville, North Carolina, which is our second location.
man, we'll have to talk about that off stream. That's sick.
Yeah, for sure, man. So actually the goal is to franchise, to open other locations. So I'm just kind of building that snowball right now, putting in the work. But um um what was I gonna
I
say?
don't know, but I got you off course. We were talking about where I wanted to be in 10 years and different things like that.
I got it now. You know, if one thing that's Amazon has taught me, in addition to other things throughout my life, if Amazon went away tomorrow and they took all my inventory and all of the money associated with it, talk about proving yourself to yourself. Undoubtedly, I know the power of the internet. I know there's a million ways to make a buck online, and I know I can do that. So, like, I'm not overly concerned for that exact reason, you know. But contrarily, I want to ask you a different question. Money aside, you have whatever number it is that for you, you never have to lift a finger again. Do you still think you're spending the days the way you are, or would something drastically change? Or like what outside of business stuff, if anything, like if you ever think about, you know, tomorrow you wake up with 20 million in the bank, what do you do?
God, I can't allow myself to think that right now. I don't know why. Like, I don't even, I can't even, I sometimes I have those thoughts and I always shut it down because I love what I do so much, like doing
Right?
all these different things. But when we do part two, man, because I know I could spit some BS off to you right now, but I want to really, let's save that for part two because
Deal.
I don't know. I think it would have something to do with just traveling, man. Like, who knows? I might be traveling and vlogging and like eating different foods and sharing, like, and hiking outdoors and bike riding and freaking getting
Yeah.
drunk with at your place, riding bikes around and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
that was one thing I've been thinking about doing lately. Like, they have those little bike rides where you stop and have beers on the way. That would sound cool. But I love traveling, man. Maybe I'll freaking
Yeah.
go international. I don't know.
It's funny you say that. I think a dream job for me would be to get paid to travel the world and eat the food and meet the people. Like that would, and then I'm like, well, you know what? You can do that. You know, like it might not be
Yeah.
the easiest, but by the way, bike thing, I'm someone that does some outlandish stuff. I'm from South Florida. I biked from St. Augustine. The goal was across the country by myself like 2 years ago. I
Wow.
made it to Austin and my fingers were gonna fall off. They were all like numb and I
Oh,
called it quits. But that was a really cool experience nonetheless.
wow. St.
Yeah.
Augustine. That's where is that where the heck is that, like that little, it's not a peninsula, is it?
It's under Jacksonville on the very northeast part of Florida. It's like I think it's the world's oldest city. Or it's not the world, the country's oldest city. Or
When I
Florida's. I don't know. I'm not a historian.
Yeah, when I used to live in Miami in 2020, I live in Connecticut now. I moved like one street from my parents' house and bought a house
Yep.
out here in 2021. But I was looking, I think in St. August. I think that's where I was looking. But I
Okay.
was like, man, this real estate's so expensive.
Yeah. Yeah. Florida's expensive, but cool, man. Listen, dude, I appreciate this so much. I
Oh
love
yeah,
talking to you.
yeah.
I'm sure most people know how to find you, but we'll link everything below. I know you're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, website. We'll post all of that
We'll
below.
see about
Is there anything
TikTok.
in particular? Yes, thank you. Is there anything in particular maybe that you're working on you want to share with people, like a specific new course or something?
No, honestly, just, if you want, check out my content. I'm on Instagram at Raiken Profit, YouTube at Raiken Profit. I post just a lot of content, sharing my ups and downs and sharing my journey and whatnot. So I would just say, go follow me over there if you want to, learn about selling, on Amazon or eBay to Amazon, or to see what I'm up to. That's all. I don't really want
Okay.
to discuss courses and all that. I just want to, add value. And if folks want to work with me down the road, then so be it. If not, we'll have a beer and ride a bike someday.
I love it. I love it. That sounds good, man. Yeah, we'll definitely have to pick this up again. Appreciate you being here. And
Hey, man.
I think that's it. All right.
All right. Thanks for having me on. Appreciate
All right,
you.
man. Take care.
You too.